everyone, welcome to this week's video. This week's parsha is Re'eh. That's right, we're still in the middle of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, where we read of Moshe's monologue before his passing. Moshe speaks to the Jewish people. He spends about 37 days from the first of Shabbat till the day he dies, and he gives them fundamentals, ideas, major ways to think about life, to think about the land, to think about the future. He warns them against idolatry and against being seduced by the ways of the Canaanites and all the other peoples. So jam-packed. In this week's parsha, we've got the laws of kosher repeated to us, the laws of the festivals repeated to us, the laws of tzedakah, the laws of debt, so many other things. It's really a jam-packed parsha. I encourage you to read it. The parsha is, let me just take a look. Where is the parsha? It's Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 25. Okay, here we go. Now, today, I'm going to spend a few moments on the first verse. And I'm going to share with you 5 or 6 interpretations of this verse, which personally I found many of them to be very meaningful and very impactful. And it just shows how our sages dissected every word and even every letter of the Torah. And the later sages come along and they take a look again and they bring fresh lenses and fresh ideas, all while staying true to the basic ideas of the Torah. So the Torah opens up with the verse, Re'ei anoichi noisen lifneichem hayoim beracha u'kalala. See, Re'ei, see, anochi I set before you, notzein lifneichem, hayoim today, bracha, blessing, klala, and curse. See, I set before you today blessing and curse. What is going on over here? Well, there's many interpretations, but one of them is God is telling the people through Moshe, you should see that you have free choice. I'm going to give you an option. You can do whatever you want. It'll either be a blessing or a curse. Fundamental of free choice, which Rambam actually learns from Deuteronomy 30, where there's a similar verse, and it teaches us a fundamental idea of Judaism, that we have free choice when it comes to our moral choices. Other things we can say, they're predestined and so on. That's a very big debate that's beyond the scope of this video. But Rambam is adamant that we absolutely have free choice, which gives our actions value and purpose, and therefore we can be held responsible for our actions. So everything to you is a blessing or a curse. Depends how you want to do with it. Let's use that theme and examine some of this, and then we'll examine some of the verse itself, and then we'll come back and add a few others. So, one of the commentaries, I forget who, says, well, let's have a look. Re'ei si anochi, I, the me, that I'm giving you today is a blessing or a curse. The sense of I, my own identity, can be either a blessing or a curse, depending on how I deal with it. I can turn around and say, I can do incredible things in the world. I can literally change someone's life. I have the capacity to make a real impact on society, on my neighbors, on my friends, on my family, on myself. That could be a blessing. But we also know that the I can be a curse. If the I gives us a sense of arrogance, oh, this is all for me, look what I've done, I'm so great, I'm so amazing, everyone else is nothing, then it's a curse. Depends how you want to deal with it. Re'ei, see, the I that I've given you is a blessing and a curse. Let's look at another one. Re'ei, see that I've given you today, bracha u'klala. The notion that today is important can be a bracha, a blessing, or a curse, depending on what you do with it. You can either say, carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. I have so much to accomplish. I've got to give tzedakah today. I've got to do a mitzvah today. I've got to pick up the phone and call my friend, call that person who's lonely. Then it's a blessing. But if it's today, let me go party, because tomorrow I may die, and I live life in abandon, recklessness, because today is the day, then perhaps it's a curse. Another interpretation of this is see, the word re'eh is singular. I give before you, that word for you in Hebrew is lifneichem, which is plural. Moses is telling the people, see, each and every single one of you, the individual has to see that what I'm giving is before you, before the collective. That the whole world is a blessing and a curse, is in the balance. We have to look at the world and all of humanity that is 50-50. As the Rambam says famously, that we have to see the world as 50% good, 50% bad, and what we do could literally tip the scale. The ripple effect of my good deed is beyond anything I could even imagine. It's very simple. It's literally like compounding interest. I do a good thing, which inspires someone else to do a good thing. That inspires more and more and more people to do a good thing. The one act can literally have major ripple effects way beyond my imagination. Of course, the reverse is true. That a bad deed can have tremendous effects on millions and thousands and millions of people. Another interpretation on this verse, I know where this is not my usual weekly Devar Torah, but I'm just very inspired with this verse. The Rebbe explains, see, I put before you today blessing and its curse. What does that mean? What is bad? What is evil? Chassidus explains that there's no real evil. Real evil is a transmutation of good. That when things are bad, it's the good that has become corrupted. The blessing is being manifest in an incorrect way. And my job as a human being is to redeem that, to transform it. Not necessarily always to reject it, although I may do that initially, but ultimately the goal is to transform it. And when I realize that all the bad things in the world, when we think of bad people, we think of bad ideas, they're really just a corruption of something good, then I could find the redeeming value and redeem it. Very, very inspiring way to think about things. Nothing's black and white. That in actuality, everything is two sides and it's really good, but it doesn't manifest itself that way. We think about our children's behavior. Sometimes they do things that are wrong. Does that make them bad? It just means that the good is not being manifest correctly. And it's our job to guide and to transform and to redeem the good that's there. So remember, see, today I put before you the blessing and its curse. This is based on the Targum, the translation of Yonatan ben Uziel, the famous early translator from Israel, 2,000 years ago or so. So here's my little something for you. I hope you've enjoyed this Dvar Torah video, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Feel free to email me, rabbi@uchicago.edu, or leave a comment, and I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.